Mumbai. Vibrant, liberal, multicultural, multiracial, cosmopolitan. A city brimming with tremendous resilience, oozing with opportunity, teeming with frenetic activity. Women here have carved a life for themselves, a status appreciated by their families, admired by their peers, recognized by society. But 100 years ago, this was not so. Life for a woman in Bombay, as in other parts of India, was abysmal. Prevailing social customs, a chauvinistic outlook, and family's traditional rigidity prevented her from realizing her true role in the family, society, and the nation. How did this change come about? Not by divine intervention, not by a stroke of luck, certainly not all of a sudden. Some women dared, defied conventions, took on the collective might of society, faced the wrath of their own families, walked alone on a path strewn with thorns. Through grit, determination, and single-mindedness, they achieved the impossible, so far away from the public glare that even piecing their lives together, visually and textually, would be a challenge. Here's their story. Madame Bhikaji Cama was a rebel and a nationalist from very early in her life. The first Indian national flag was unfurled by this courageous lady as early as 1907. The story of her attempts to save the revolutionary Veer Savarkar, who jumped into the ocean from a ship, is the stuff of legend. Several Indian revolutionaries received her generous help with finances and publishing. The story of India's struggle for independence would be incomplete without her. An active member of the Arya Mahila Samaj, Ramabai Ranade started a Hindu ladies' club and later opened classes for illiterate women and widows. She also established the Seva Sadan Nursing and Medical Association, in which even upper caste widows and girls volunteered to work. The institution still stands tall, even after 100 years. She led the agitation for compulsory primary education for girls. Further, she supported the suffrage movement, demanding the right to vote. Sumati Morarji was the first woman of Indian shipping, traditionally a male bastion. She was also a close associate of Mahatma Gandhi. She distinguished herself, assuming important responsibilities in Indian and global shipping. At the early age of 20, she was included in the managing agency of a company. Sumati Morarji became the first woman in the world to head an organization of ship owners, Indian National Steamship Owners Association. She was instrumental too in bringing the Sindhis from Pakistan during partition. She was the first Indian woman scientist. She passed her BSc with a first-class first, but was denied admission to the Science Society of Bangalore. She refused to take no for an answer. This forced the authorities to admit her, thereby making her the first woman to gain entry to the prestigious institute. She was the first Indian woman to get a PhD degree. She passed over the opportunity of doing further research in USA, preferring instead to return to her homeland to do useful research for her people. In recognition of her contribution, she was decorated with the Rashtrapati Medal. Her name, Kamlabai Sohoni. Avabai Wadia was a pioneer of the family planning movement. She developed a passion for volunteering at an early age, involving herself in numerous women's rights groups. She was a driving force behind the formation of the Family Planning Association of India in 1950. A fearless fighter, indomitable activist, and committed idealist, her work has made a colossal difference to gender equality and reproductive rights, not only in India but across the globe. She was awarded the Padma Shri in 1971 and Padma Bhushan in 1981. She was a pioneer of women's journalism, consumer activism, catering education, and the civil society movement in India. In the 1940s, when there was hardly a woman reporter to be seen, she started working for the English news dailies. In the 1960s, she threw herself into the civil society movement and was among the founding sisters of the Consumer Guidance Society of India. She further went on to establish Southeast Asia's first catering college, Institute of Hotel Management, Catering Technology, and Applied Nutrition. Her achievements made a sterling impact in her chosen domain and carved a definite path for others to follow. Her name, Leela Jog. Thangam Philip was more attracted to food science rather than to nutrition as pure science, as she realized that food is the means to providing nutrition. In 1955, she joined Mumbai's Institute of Catering Technology and Applied Nutrition. For 25 years, she was involved in developing both man and woman power for the food and accommodation industry. Padma Shri Thangam Philip's life and work are relevant not just because of her achievements as a pure scientist, but as one who has utilized the opportunity of applying science into everyday living. Coming from a family with very modest means, Lata Mangeshkar is the best-known playback singer in the film industry. Her career started in 1942 and has spanned over 6.5 decades. She was featured in the Guinness Book of World Records for having made the most recordings in the world, no less than 25,000 solo, duet and chorus-backed songs in 20 Indian languages. In addition, she has also recorded several non-film songs. She has been decorated with the Bharat Ratna, a jewel of India. She began contributing to a variety of social and political movements in Mumbai from as early as 1942. A founder member of the Mahila Dakshata Samiti and Samajwadi Mahila Sabha, she was at the forefront of organizing movements against inflation, price rise, bridal burnings, the traditions of sati and dowry. A keen socialist, determined activist, and committed reformer, Pramila Dandavate's life and work have made a significant difference to women's lives vis-à-vis their participation in governance. Justice Sujata Manohar was born into a family with a strong legal background. She herself graduated from Elphinstone College, Bombay, and then went to Oxford. Returning to India, she voluntarily associated herself with non-governmental organizations. After 20 years of practice, she was appointed a judge of the Mumbai High Court, the first woman judge of that court. In 1994, she was appointed Chief Justice of the Mumbai High Court, again the first woman to hold that post. Later, she was appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court of India, an example of not merely intellectual brilliance but also professional integrity.